puts out a lot of different running backs. Alabama puts out running backs like no one's business. You can call them running back you, so to speak. Now, the last individual from Alabama that led the league in rushing was Derrick Henry. But there's also another guy that most people don't know about. We're gonna watch that video. This is, how about this? Put down the person you think who I'm talking about. He is an individual that rushed for 5 touchdowns in 1 half. He's the first person, I think, from Alabama that led the league in rushing. Let's go.
It seems like every Sunday in the NFL, a former Alabama running back is having a big day.
Derrick Henry.
Oh, Josh Norman, I'm sorry, bruh.
Last year, King Henry, who rolled with the Tide, won the rushing title, which led me to an interesting trivia
This is a little bit old.
Derrick Henry was the NFL's leading rusher in 2019. Who was the last Alabama running back that was the NFL's leading rusher?
Y'all know who that is?
Time's up. It was you.
Shaun Alexander, boy.
If that face
Go
looks
Hawks.
familiar, but you don't quite remember the name, well, you're not alone. That's former NFL MVP Shaun Alexander, the one with over 9,400 rushing yards and 112 touchdowns.
Graceful. That man just knew how to pick them holes and set up blocks. Not the fastest, but he knew how to do the baby.
What's the record you love the most?
I like the 5 touchdowns in 1 half.
5 tutties in 1 half. They pulled him out. They pulled him out, Jack. They pulled him out. He could have had that 6-7.
These are the 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, those are the 5 touchdowns. So I came off to the sideline. I said, yeah, hey, keep this. I'll be back. And then I scored again. And they're like, what's going on here? I was like, I don't even know.
Bro, he knew. He knew.
We sit and we laugh because after his career, we were watching a game together, and I'm like, hey, why aren't they just scoring in the red zone? Like, why isn't this just happening? And he's like, you know that, like, that wasn't easy. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Made it look easy, didn't it? Yeah, it was anything but.
Hall of Famer right there, too.
And he was like, that was pretty
71.
hard what I was doing. And so I think it really clicked for me what his football career was when he was actually done.
Did you surprise yourself?
No.
I like that.
Soft spoken,
y'all. I wanted to be like a touchdown machine. Man, my goal is to make the other team want me to be their running back.
Yeah.
You know?
That was your mentality headed into
I
every
want to
game.
score
that's-
touchdowns.
that's
and I
dope.
want them to think, man, I wish Shaun was my running back.
Oh, that's dope. That's fire.
Alexander has been impressing opponents since his days at Boone County High School in Florence, Kentucky, but nothing has been handed to him.
My sophomore year, the season starts, and I'm just like a JV running back. He was like, yeah, Shaun, get in there. And they pitched me the ball and down the sideline, and, you know, I had 9 carries, 4 touchdowns that night. And they're like, oh,
Damn.
yeah, you're that
You
guy.
can do this.
All right,
I
toss
came
play.
out of nowhere, and then I broke all the school records. I broke most of the state records. I know I was on a couple of national
Yeah.
records.
Alexander the Great with his 107th career touchdown. Emmett
What?
Smith held the old mark. Shaun Alexander set the new.
107 touchdowns in high
Wasn't
school?
just another face in the crowd. His stellar high school career earned him a scholarship. to
42
Alabama.
tutties in one
After
season?
redshirting his first year and playing sparingly the next 2, he finally got the opportunity to start as a junior.
Florida
He
back then
finished
was a
his
wreck
career
machine.
With the Crimson Tide, holding 15 school records, including rushing yards and rushing touchdowns.
You're drafted 19th by Seattle. Were you surprised that you weren't taken sooner, given how well you performed in college?
I was. I thought I was going to go to the New York Giants.
Okay.
And they picked Ron Dane, a good buddy of mine, who won the Heisman.
Not bad.
Yeah, so it
Ron
wasn't
Dane, look
that
him
big.
up. Wisconsin.
I would have picked
He was
him,
a
but-
he was a
You
machine.
always bet on you.
Always,
My
yeah,
dad
you
always
got
says
to,
that.
you
You
know
got to
what I
be
mean?
your #1 fan.
Yeah, when in doubt, yeah, go with you know.
Alexander landed in a new place, but was confronted with a very familiar situation.
Yep.
That year, you know, I'm behind the great
Ricky.
Ricky Waters.
Yeah,
Ricky
so
Waters.
You get
I gotta wait again.
Exactly.
you
Here
know
we
what
are
I mean?
again, right? The same. You're like, I've done this before. I've seen this
Not
story.
even
This was
I've
good for
watched
him,
this
though.
movie, right?
I will be ready.
I will be
when
ready.
when they call my number.
Yup.
Backs and receivers, and this is a big one.
Max
Ricky
Strong,
Waters,
man. One of the best fullbacks for purposes of being a fullback, a thumper.
It was a great start.
He was a good one.
In his first 2
Trent
games
Dilfer,
as Seattle's lead back,
great system
Alexander
quarterback,
ran for
great teacher.
318 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Sean Alexander is going to be a star. Mike Holmgren's been saying it. All it's taken him is 2 games to prove it.
From 2001 to 2004, he scored 70 total touchdowns.
When he wants
That's
to
not
get
easy,
in the
y'all.
end zone, he does.
Hall of Famers Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, and Marshall Faulk never scored that many touchdowns in a 4-year span.
4
Sure,
years,
they're gaudy
70
stats,
plus.
but they're nothing compared to what Sean did in 2005.
Big one today, okay?
No doubt.
A lot of
Mike
people,
Holmgren.
okay? All right, you do the best you can, like always.
Sean Alexander knows where that end zone is.
This guy is something else.
So
Smooth.
2005, you are the MVP.
Yeah.
You guys make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You have over 1,800 yards rushing and 28 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good year.
I was just like in a spiritual and physical and mental and emotional. I was just like
I got to pause this. Yo, I got to pause this. To be MVP running back, most valuable player running back, that means you did a heck of a lot. Because this was the era when you had like Peyton Manning. You had a lot of quarterbacks out there that had big names, and he was better than all of them. I mean, it's not to say that they weren't good too, but he was recognized as being better. God, it just means from a running back position, you were that dude.
Level like every week. I was just really locked in. Like every play made sense.
Sean Alexander's at the top of his game.
His 28 total touchdowns set a then league record.
Yup.
And that feeling
I think it was broken by
there
LT.
is
Yeah.
what?
You know, like you work really hard. Like it's always goes back to goal setting. You know what I mean? And so you like work really hard to like say like what is the impossible, and then you pick like a goal that's a little bit past that.
Touchdown Seahawks.
Back strong with the
And
block.
man number 37 the record.
Despite rewriting the NFL record books and leading the Seahawks to their first ever Super Bowl appearance, Sean's stature on the national stage paled in comparison to his peers.
And
Yeah.
then, of course,
Yeah.
do you know his name?
Yeah, it's my first Sports Illustrated cover.
And the first ever Seahawk to grace the
Yeah.
Sports Illustrated cover.
Yo.
It's really funny because that's kind of like my story. Like they almost got to give you a hint. He's the leading rusher in the NFL on the best team in the NFC. That's kind of my story. Like it's almost like I'm hidden, but still doing it. You know.
Do you like that?
I think it has its pluses and its minuses, but
Yeah.
I'll take the pluses. I'm optimistic about it.
This is a good plus.
I wonder what jerseys he has on
Another
the wall.
plus, the 8-year, $62 million contract
Oh yeah, that was
Sean
big.
signed after the
That was
season.
big. He reset the market for the running back crew back then. This was huge for running back crews.
Which made him the highest paid running back in the NFL. His career trajectory appeared to be pointed straight towards Canton, Ohio, but injuries caused his production to
Yep.
drop in 2 years. After being named MVP, he was released by the Seahawks. He signed with Washington in 2008, but retired after just 4 games with the 7th most rushing touchdowns in NFL history.
It wasn't the same.
Clap on 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's go. All right, we're ready. Dance. Height.
More than a decade after playing in his last NFL
dope.
game,
Make a play. Make a play. Oh, there it is.
Sean, his wife, and their 10 children reside in rural Virginia.
Touchdown.
He's comfortable living in the obscurity that he tried hard to escape. Well, maybe not complete
that's dope.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, how are you? This is Sean,
How
and
you
you are
doing?
Hey, Sean, it's Sean Alexander.
I am. How you doing?
How you doing?
special delivery.
Guy, Sean Alexander. Watch you play.
Thank you.
That's dope. What would it be like? What would it be like to be walking up on an interview as like an Amazon delivery guy, and there is Sean Alexander, one of the greatest to ever do it. That is dope.
He has experienced a lot of different things in his life, including a awesome football career. And I think it's developed him in awesome ways where he's
Nice.
now a MVP dad to me.
Third down.
That's dope. That's dope.
And
Oh, he got all the
us,
kids.
as his family, we get to see that now every day after his career.
How do you think
That's the dream
that
right
you
there,
were
y'all.
remembered in the game of football?
I'm just thankful. If God gives me football, I'm not football. But man, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to try to go master this thing. And so that's
Yeah.
what I did.
When you talk about high school and college and the pros, that underdog, how do you view your story?
I feel like it's one of those, like, I always want to tell the story, like, it doesn't matter what number you are in the line of order. When it's your turn, go make it happen.
Be ready. Yo, Sean Alexander, one of the greatest to ever do it for the Seattle Seahawks. That Super Bowl, there was a lot of weird calls that was happening. A lot of weird calls. We had an opportunity to really, bring that thing home, but eventually it happened. But it's a shame that he didn't get the opportunities that he could have had if he had different things around him. He didn't have that offensive firepower that some of the other teams had. Like, name a wide receiver in his era of Seahawk football. All right, name a wide receiver. His quarterback was Trent Dilfer. All right, Trent Dilfer was his quarterback. So that's like, take that into account. He was MVP with Trent Dilfer. Mike Holmgren was pretty dang good. Mike Holmgren coached Brett Favre, coming from the Packers, later became the GM. Like, there's a lot of great things about Sean Alexander that put Seattle on a map that's not talked about enough. I just want to watch this video with y'all because he's a GOAT, man. You go to Alabama, you talk about Sean Alexander, man. They'll throw a haymaker at your face if you talk ill of him. That's how much respect Alabama got for this man. If you go to Seattle and you talk about Sean Alexander, number 37, they'll tell you all about the cool things that he did for the community, how graceful he was on the field, and how he could have had 6 or 7 or maybe 8 tutties if they didn't take him out after the half. Anyways, this was a good flick, man. I'm glad y'all watch this with me. Like, subscribe, send this to your best friend. Deuces.